Welcome to the Protect Your Nest podcast, hosted by me, attorney Brandon Lawrence. Here, we're taking the mystery out of estate planning and probate with honest conversations that make complex topics easier to understand. Everything from wills, trusts, healthcare directives, and elder care planning. It's all about helping you make the informed choices for yourself and your loved ones. Let's talk it over. Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Protect Your Nest with me, Brandon Lawrence, the lawyer for the city. We had a previous episode, we talked about some estate planning, in particular for Medicaid preparation, to go into a nursing home. Today we're going to go a bit deeper, a bit more in depth about how to do that. What are the vehicles to be able to assist you to prepare yourself to go into a nursing home financially and meet the criteria for Medicaid eligibility. And as I said before, we know that I ran some numbers, and the numbers say that you can't have any more, as of 2026 in Kentucky, you can't have any more than $2,982 per month in income. $2,000 overall asset. That's the limit, and that's per person. It's double if you're a married couple, and but for a single individual, those are the numbers. So when you are applying for Medicaid to prepare to go into a nursing home, you've got to meet a couple criteria medically. In age-wise, to qualify for Medicaid, first of all, you've got to be 65 and over. It's either 65 and over, blind, not capable of taking care of yourself and needing professional medical nursing home care. And you're able to establish these disabilities by a medical professional. And they can sign off on that and then say professionally that you need skilled nursing rehabilitative services, 24-hour care. That's the first criteria. Then of course we talked about the financial portion of it. But a lot of people are qualified, but they have too much money, simply. A lot of people believe that you don't sit down and think about how much money you have. You might say, I don't have enough money. I don't have enough money to get what I want. Car, house, etc. The type of lifestyle that I want to live. But when you sit down, a lot of individuals, especially 65 and older, they've got some income coming in because they've worked the majority of their lives. They might have a spouse that's worked the majority of their lives, and they might have passed away. And you could be also getting a portion of your spouse's income or retirement, after they pass away, and as well, your retirement income. So you could be getting Social Security disability, retirement income, your investment income, those types of things. And you have a home and a car, and those types of things add up. So you've got to qualify financially to get Medicaid, and you still might not be able to afford $20,000 for a nursing home. And then you need Medicaid to supplement some of those payments, and you've got to qualify for that. So to meet that criteria, you've got to do what people have. It's become a popularized term within the industry of a spend down, because of course Medicaid, once you apply Medicaid, from the date of the application, takes a look back 5 years previous for any income or any assets that they could attach or take or accept for some type of Medicaid payment before you're eligible for to get Medicaid nursing care. So those are some things that you've got to consider. And a lot of times, I would say most times, you're going to need a professional to help you with that. You've got to be able to protect your nest. And that's the thing that we are able to assist you in doing. You need to get a professional's help to make sure you qualify and to make sure you're not losing any money and the government's not coming in to take some of your money, so to speak. So if you want to avoid that. Um so, these things, there are vehicles out there for you to do that. And usually they come in the form of a trust. And people throw around terms and they say and kind of just generally, but specifically, there are specific types of trusts that can assist you with the spin down, qualifying for Medicaid, protecting your assets, and also not being your assets not being counted a medic toward Medicaid and possibly disqualifying you from Medicaid and possibly having you pay more than you actually need to. So you want to use the assistance of a trust sometimes. And there are different types of trusts. Generally, you got revocable and irrevocable trust. Okay. Revocable trust is just what it says. You can revoke it. You can take it away. You can take the assets out of the trust a little bit more easily. Okay. Then you have an irrevocable trust, which is more difficult once it's set up to take an asset out of that trust. But the purpose of an irrevocable trust, it could be a couple purposes, dual purposes or multiple purposes. For tax, it could have tax ramifications. It could assist you with qualifying for Medicaid and also make it so that certain your assets that you have are not counted when Medicaid takes that 5-year look back. So an irrevocable trust, I would say a revocable trust gives you a lot more flexibility with moving things in and out. And you can also, excuse me, with a revocable trust, you can still have some type of control over your assets. Whereas when you have an irrevocable trust, you have a little bit less, you have to have a lot less control. And you will have to everything will be in someone else's hands. So with the irrevocable trust and the revocable trust, you've got a term, it's called the grantor. The grantor is the individual that says, hey, I want to set this trust up. That's probably you. All right, because it's your asset and you're putting your asset in a trust in that vehicle. Now, then secondly, you've got a trustee. The trustee is the individual that operates the trust and basically has control and says how how the income from assets are distributed. All right, but they're supposed to be distributed according to the grantor's plan, but the trustee does have the most control. Now, then you also have a beneficiary, right? The beneficiary is the person, of course, that benefits from the actual trust, gets the income, gets the asset, those types of things. So there are certain things that you can't do with a trust. But if your main goal is to qualify for Medicaid, you've got something which is called a Medicaid Asset Protection Trust. And that holds the assets of a person, of course, that's applying for the Medicaid, right? So it's an irrevocable trust that takes the assets from what they call the countable resource limit. So Medicaid can't say, hey, you got a house and your house is worth X amount of dollars. So, hey, you got to spend down a certain amount of money because that's too much. That's too many assets. Or you've got a investment plan that's making X amount of dollars per month per year, and that's going to count toward your monthly income. Now, what you can do is put these assets in a Medicaid asset protection trust, hold it there, and it's not going to count against that. All right. But of course, when you put your home in a trust, you, the grantor, are still responsible for the mortgage payments, for the insurance, for the taxes. All right. But then again, you can't turn around and take 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 another mortgage on the house and then take money from that. You lose that control. So that's a part of the irrevocable part of it, the whole point of it is you do not have control, because technically that's not your asset any longer. It belongs to the trust. And when you put a house in the trust, you've got to go in and retitle it, make a deed, and basically make the trust the owner of that home, because you're not technically the owner of it anymore. And then you have to also be careful when you take your home and put it in a trust. You've got to let the mortgage company know that that's what you're doing, so they don't have a due on sale clause that kicks into effect and says, hey, we're demanding that this home be paid off right now, because you're trying to do something that's beyond the pale of what our contract is. So these are things that you need an attorney or professional to assist you with, so you don't lose your assets, and so you don't draw the attention negatively of the mortgage company or anyone that's saying, hey, you're trying to do something that you're not able to do. You want to be able to be above board and be able to be looked at as, hey, this is all legitimate. So that's one type of trust. It was a Medicaid Asset Protection Trust. Okay. And then you also have insurance, of course. You've got insurance. You have life insurance. A lot of times they want you to, a lot of times you'd rather, in the situation, if you try qualifying for Medicaid, you want to get a term policy rather than a whole life policy, because a whole life policy has got cash value that you could recoup, that you could turn the policy in for after quite a few payments. But there's also a trust associated with life insurance, which is they call it the ILIT, some acronyms and things, but it's an irrevocable life insurance trust. All right. So that's the trust. The trust is the beneficiary of the owner and the owner, of the policy. The grantor can't be it cannot be the trustee of the trust, and that's with most of these trusts. The grantor can't be the trustee, because the whole point is you don't have the ownership of it, and that's the key. The ownership to have any assets that are ascertainable by you, or that you retain anything in that. So it's important to, when you open up a trust, the grantor opens up a trust, that you choose carefully the trustee and also carefully the beneficiaries. So back to the ILIT, right? Irrevocable Life Insurance Trust. What happens most of the time, what you want to do is get a brand new policy, right? Get a brand new life insurance policy, and you can put that in the Irrevocable Life Insurance Trust. Because what happens, if you have an existing policy, that's looked at kind of skeptically when you put that in the Irrevocable Life Insurance Trust, because that kind of triggers something that says, hey, that's just automatic. You're just trying automatically to avoid any type of tax implications, things like that, and any assets being counted against you, because you've had this policy for a period of time. But you can put an existing life insurance policy in the Irrevocable Life Insurance Trust, but there are certain parameters that criteria that you have to meet, you've got to live for at least 3 years after you put that existing policy in that trust. So if you're looking at qualifying for Medicaid, right, and you want to make sure that there aren't any tax implications and that the money goes straight to I guess the beneficiaries that you'd like to choose, you probably want to go ahead and get a new policy if you qualify for that policy. And because we've already given you the statistics that the majority of individuals that go into nursing homes at an advanced age don't live very long and stay in that nursing home very long. A lot of that is end-of-life care. So that's another option, the ILET Irrevocable Life Insurance Trust. You've got, of course, an income-only trust that can assist you with qualifying for Medicaid. That's often referred to as a qualified income trust or a Miller trust, right? Miller trust. The trust works by allowing the grantor you can deposit income exceeding Medicaid limits into a dedicated account. So you're making more money through investments or, whatever income that you have, all right, and to spend that down and not have that count against you so you can qualify for Medicaid, you can open up a trust and put that remainder money in this income only trust. All right. Now, to meet the Medicaid limits, these are certain ways. Those are a couple trusts. There are many more, but those are just a few trusts that can help you qualify for Medicaid. And again, protect your nest. You've got to, I would say, you need to go to a professional, seek professional help to have them assist with you qualifying for Medicaid, because it's extremely important, because this stuff is expensive. And you may have enough money, but if you want to prepare for end of life type of situations and keep some of your income, pass that down, and be allowed to stay in your house. And then also another thing, the not insurance, the nursing home can still get your home after you pass away if you've been living in a nursing home, because those assets are going to be attributable to you if you don't have that home, if you don't protect yourself and have that home or those assets in some type of vehicle to avoid the probate. Because it could be I'm sure you've heard stories where, nursing homes are getting people's homes, because a lot of the times the homes are almost or mostly paid for, and that's the asset that the nursing home can take and, and liquidate. So if you want to be in the most control that you can, then these are some vehicles that you could use to assist you and qualifying for Medicaid, keeping a lot of your income, not avoiding some type of tax ramification, and passing that down. I mean, those are just simple things, but those are things that you probably need some help with, utilizing these tools and these options can help you again to protect your nest. So these are some short, simple ways. And also, if you want to get some more in-depth conversation about these, or go into more details, specifics on how to utilize these tools and some more tools, you can always contact me at lawyerforthecity.org. You can look at my website, lawyerforthecity.org. You can email me, call me, and then we can set up an appointment and go in depth and look at what type of vehicle will be best for you. Would it be a revocable trust? Would it be an irrevocable trust? Will it be a will? Would it be what are your plans? What are your goals for protecting your money, for maybe qualifying for Medicaid if you need to, to get into a nursing home, because he also, in addition, with the nursing homes, they have a certain amount of Medicaid beds. All the beds are not allocated for Medicaid. You have a certain amount of Medicaid beds, and this is with memory care, with nursing homes, and other type of senior um, facilities that serve the aging population. So the best thing that you can do is try to prepare early as you can, and to put yourself in the most advantageous position, because obviously it's extremely important, and hopefully we're all going to age, into a ripe old age, and some of us are going to need more assistance than others, and we don't really know what situation we're going to be in, if we'll have our spouse, if we won't, if we'll have our family around, if we won't. So we want to take the most precautions and make the best plan that's going to be most beneficial to us. And that's what we all strive to do. And there are tools out there to help you to do that. And you want to take advantage of them and go to a professional that can help you out and assist you with making the best plan most suitable for you. And I thank you for listening. Look forward to coming back and give you some more information on another episode of Protect Your Nest. And in the meantime, it's getting warm out there. The snow is melting, but still watch your step and take care of yourself. Until next time, this is Brandon Lawrence, the lawyer for the city. Protect your nest. That wraps up today's episode of the Protect Your Nest podcast with me, Attorney Brandon Lawrence. I hope you picked up a few ideas to help you and your family plan with confidence. Be sure to like and follow so you won't miss our next conversation, where we'll continue exploring the topics that matter most for your family's future. Until next time, let's talk it over.